Welcome back to a new video about the ISE&PPOOA methodology. In today's video, we are going to show you exactly how to build a clean, low coupling package structure for your system model using the ISE&PPOOA methodology. This is the way Professor Fernandez, in his book, Practical Model-Based Systems Engineering, recommends organizing your work so everything stays maintainable and easy to navigate. So let's get started. As you can see in the slide and further detail in chapter 4 of the book, the ISE&PPOOA methodology organizes the entire modeling effort around 3 clear dimensions. First, we have the mission dimension, where we try to understand users and stakeholders and define the system problem. And for that, we are going to create several views, like the system context or the operational scenarios, from which we are going to derive the user needs and the capabilities our system needs to possess in order to achieve its purpose. Next, we have the system dimension, where we focus on ideating the solution according to the definition of the problem. Here is where we define the system requirements, function architecture that is consistent with the view of the mission dimension, and from it, we will derive the physical architecture of the system. Finally, for software-intensive systems, we create the software dimension to define the software problem and its solution accordingly. For that, we will create the domain model, which is kind of a bridge between the system architecture and the software components, and the software architecture with the two views, the structural view and the behavioral view. Finally, for software-intensive systems, we create the software dimension to define the software problem and its solution accordingly. For that, we create the domain model, which is a bridge between the system architecture and the software components, and the software architecture with both its structural view and its behavioral view. As you can see, higher level dimensions are the drivers of the lower ones, and therefore the content defined in these high level views remain independent of those lower levels. It is the detailed views, the ones that are dependent on the more abstract views of the model. This clean separation is what gives you low coupling and makes the model easy to maintain. Let's go now to create the packages for the model and talk a little bit more about the different views which the ISE&PPOOA methodology proposes to have. If we start from an empty model in our modeling tool, the first thing we need to do is to create one package for each of the dimensions that we just saw. One for the mission dimension, one for the system dimension, an additional one for the software dimension. This structure is, of course, still very basic, so let's refine it in the next slides. We'll start with the mission dimension package. Here, we will create 4 packages according to its views. One package for the system context, one package for the use cases, one package for the user needs or operational needs, and finally, one package for the capabilities of the system. Remember that the system context defines the boundaries of the system of interest by identifying the external entities interacting with the system. The use cases and operational scenarios describe the sequence of interactions between the users and the system to achieve different user goals. From the use cases, we specify the operational needs regarding the system and expressed from the stakeholders' point of view. Those needs, of course, will be contained in the operational needs package. And finally, we define the capabilities that the system must have to perform the intended effect to achieve its mission in the capabilities package. If you want to know more about the mission dimension, you can go to its definition in chapter 4 of the book. Additionally, you will find some examples in chapters 8 and 9, and even more examples on the website of the ISE&PPOOA methodology. While we are working on the mission dimension, we will discover the items that the system must exchange with the outside world. These are flows of matter, energy, or data crossing through the system's boundary and representing the external interfaces of the system. Because they are used in the mission dimension, but also will be used in the system dimension, we will collect them in a top-level package right at the beginning of the model, the external items definition package. This prevents any duplication and will keep the low coupling we want between the dimensions. We have the mission dimension ready, so it's time to define the structure for the system dimension package. As we have done before, we will have one package per view in this dimension, one for the functional architecture, one for the systems requirements, and one for the physical architecture. Additionally, we will create one more package for collecting the internal items that we will discover during the definition of the functional architecture. Here, we must highlight that the functional architecture is the most important output of the whole ISE&PPOOA methodology, and it is explained in detail in Chapter 5 of the book. The functional architecture is a description of the system in terms of functions, and in this methodology, it is essential to consider a function as a transformation that takes input items and produces output items of matter, energy, or data. This concept will help us define physical architectures where the system elements are lowly coupled and have high internal functional cohesion. We will model the functional architecture in three different views. One, a functional hierarchy in one or more block definition diagrams. Then, we will represent the functional interfaces with n-squared charts. And finally, we will represent the main functional flows with activity diagrams in a way that we maintain the consistency between all these three views. If you want to see some examples of functional architectures, you can go to chapters 8 and 9 of the book. But also, there are some recent ones available in the official website of the ISE&PPOOA methodology. During the development of the functional architecture, where we are defining these functions and their flow, we will discover the internal items that must be exchanged between them. Since these items will also be used in the physical architecture, we will collect them in the internal items definition package. Next, we have the system requirements. In order to define them, we start deriving a set of high-level system requirements from the user needs and the context diagram from the mission dimension. Then, we transform these high-level system requirements into lower-level ones using the functional architecture at the basis, together with the quality tree, which is not shown in this slide. This way, we'll derive clear, traceable, and verifiable requirements, both functional and non-functional ones. You can find more about the requirements flow down process in Appendix B of the book. Finally, we develop the physical architecture. Here, we first define the modular structure of the system based on the functional interdependencies defined in the functional architecture, using the n-squared chart as our main tool. Then, in a second step, we apply heuristics and trade-offs to implement the non-functional aspects to refine the modular architecture into its final physical representation. This approach is described in Chapter 7 of the book. Finally, we reach the software dimension, detailing the aspects of the system to be implemented in software. This dimension follows the software architecture process, PPOA, that is introduced in Chapter 4 and 7, and some examples are displayed in Chapter 9. In the same way as before, we define one package per view, one for the domain model and one package for the software architecture. The domain model captures real-world concepts and objects from the system dimension views and can be considered as the bridge that connects the system architecture to the software components which we are about to define in the software architecture. Then we have the software architecture. Here, we define the software using the PPOA framework. It has two complementary views: the structural view, which defines the needed software components, the interfaces, and the coordination mechanisms that connect them. And then we have the behavioral view, which defines the causal flows of activities that explain how the elements of the structure must cooperate to provide the expected functionality of the system. And this is the final resulting structure that you will have in your modeling tool. You can see the full hierarchy with the 3 dimensions at the top and their related subpackages representing each of the views of those dimensions. If you want to go deeper in the ISE&PPOOA methodology, I highly recommend you to get the official book, Practical Model-Based Systems Engineering, published by Artist House. Additionally, you can go to the official website, ppooa.com.es, for more information and examples using this methodology. Finally, you can freely join the ISE&PPOA LinkedIn group to stay tuned about any news on the methodology. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.